Hello, my beautiful, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode in the podcast, another video episode in YouTube. If you're watching this on in YouTube or Spotify, which now has the video format of a podcast, welcome. You're able to see my morning walks, what it is that I'm up to, as I've been recording a lot of these episodes in my morning hikes, and this is one of the beautiful places. And but if you're listening to this in audio in the podcast, welcome. You get to join in the fun. As you know, I've been doing this for a little bit of time, and it's been so much fun sharing the places where I go and hike. And in case you do not know much about me, I'm new to you. I landed somehow in your scrolling. My name is Wendy Rosenthal. I am a mindset coach, spiritual guide, cancer care curator. I'm here to teach you, and most importantly, to remind you guys of your highest potential, what it is that you're able to achieve, what it is that you're able to get, become, feel once you tap into your inner guidance, when you follow your intuition, when you gain clarity from all the things that are around us, and when we get to tap into what is important for us. So, and one of the things that I talk a lot about is about self-healing. It is about healing ourselves from basically things that clutter our mind, mental health. We talk a lot about mental health in the show. I also talk a lot about self-healing from the aspect of living with a diagnosis. And I want to touch on this today in the podcast about what does it mean to heal from, in my case, cancer. What does it mean to heal, if it is you or anybody out there? What does it mean to heal from a diagnosis? And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I have seen and I have heard, I do know some people who do talk a lot about, like I heal myself from Lyme disease, or I healed myself from this autoimmune disorder. Like, a lot of people talk about that. A lot of people mention about what does it feel to live. Good morning. To live with a condition, live with a diagnosis, and these people claim that they heal themselves, right? And then at the same time, if you are into that sphere, you will hear people questioning, right? Like saying, like, what does it mean? Like, you're not a doctor. How can you say that you can heal, especially an autoimmune disease, right? Which a lot of people think that we have no control of when it is thought that it's genetic, right? And so I want to talk about this because I hear that there's still division. I hear that the people are still close-minded, sorry, about what is healing, what is self-healing. And I see that there's still that divide, that people are still skeptical. And again, people have their own right to believe or not believe what applies to them, right? But at the same time, I have seen, because I was also one of them, and to remind you, in case you do not know this part about me, my background is in science. My career is in science. And ironically, it is in immunology. And so I know very well what it is to be very skeptical, to study something, to hypothesize, to have an idea of what something might be, but then we have to prove it, right? We have to have scientific data, scientific proof that something is working or something's not working, that something is happening in a certain way or not. And so I know very well what it is like to be more in the logical mind, to question everything, because I do, and I still do, which is also ironically what led me to take this path in working with the mind, with the spirituality, with the power of our own potential in inner guidance. Because If you don't know my story as well, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I think it was about 12 years ago. And at a time when I was really feeling like crap. And especially because of my job. And not that it was my job's fault, but it was more about the inner dialogue in my head, my world, the world around me in my head. Nothing just was making sense. But anyway, so you can go back to other previous I think it's like podcast number 1 or 2 where I talk about my story. But basically, let's jump into what does it mean to heal ourselves from a diagnosis, from a condition, when I say about healing with cancer. Because I do talk about that. I do say, basically, to me, what that means, what it means to heal, okay? It doesn't mean that we are, I guess first we got to talk what it doesn't mean, right? It doesn't mean that we are 100%, at least for cancer, 100% physiologically cured. Because I understand that there are some diseases that there's like whatever conditions happening that there might not be a cure. But what I feel it applies to me, okay, especially in my case, living with a diagnosis, okay, self-healing or healing from a diagnosis means having that peace of mind, healing the mental clutter, being okay with what things are. Healing also means going along with the pain, sitting with the pain, sitting with what's uncomfortable, receiving messages that maybe we need to get in the moment. Healing to me is also acceptance, right? Acceptance of what is happening and maybe why it is happening as well, because that's another thing too. We need, in order for us to understand the situation, we got to accept it and we got to sit with it, ask questions. Like I often say, let's say like in my case it's with cancer, I got to sit with cancer. I got to give it a name even. I got to give it a shape, a form in my visualization, in my meditation. What does it look like? And then ask the questions, right? And I often teach that. Sit down with your fears, sit down with what's very uncomfortable, sit down with what's painful, and ask questions. What is it that you think is trying to tell you? Like sit with it in meditation. Let's say like if you lost your job and it's been so challenging getting another job and you're financially struggling, sit with that fear. What does it feel at a deeper level to struggle with your finances? What does it mean? Yeah, okay, I have no money for food. I have no money for rent. I have to sell my car, right? And so in that feeling, right? Like the question, I mean, there could be so many questions, but if it was me, I would say, okay, but like what does this really mean about me losing all this material stuff or not having a handle of money? Like, is there another area in my life that I also need to pay attention to? Especially because money, is very related to other areas like relationships, not just career or finances, but also relationships with your family, with yourself, your self-worth, okay? So it's basically sitting and asking, like simple questions like, what am I here to learn from this? What can I do with this? And again, let me also remind you, this is for someone who's quite aware about self-healing, because if you ask this to any random person or somebody who just got a diagnosis yesterday, they're not going to understand it. It happened to me. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? When somebody mentioned this to me way at the beginning, because we are very overprotective, right? Like we obviously are in pain, we're mourning, we're grieving this new diagnosis, so we're not going to be open-minded about receiving any kind of messages. So you have to have a process, and healing already started from what we call in this field, what we call the initiation or the wake-up call, right? Where you get the first time you're getting a diagnosis, or even first time getting the symptoms, right? That took you to investigate what the diagnosis would be later on. So healing started then. But then the moment we become aware of the quote unquote purpose of that experience is where we start going deeper. Because when you are becoming aware, when you accept it, like accepting what's going on, and then accepting that it's going to be uncomfortable and painful, because with any kind of change and with any diagnosis, any life-changing event that happens to you, any trauma, anything that is happening that is so painful and uncomfortable, there has to be change, there has to be pain, there has to be change. We got to accept that. Okay, so again, when I say healing, also here's the other thing, when I say healing or living with cancer and healing myself from cancer, what I also talk about is healing the mind. Because I often say, and I have given a few workshops around this, that cancer, in my personal experience, in my analysis of how things work, I feel that cancer, yes, it does affect the body tremendously, right? Like the body just goes through a lot of changes because it's a physiological, I don't know, like pain or basically cancer will quote unquote attack the physical body. But I feel that cancer is also, or even more, of a mental disease, or attacks the mental body a lot harder than the physical body, because your mind pretty much is everything. And so people with a diagnosis will question themselves. Their identity will be flipped upside down, inside out, all over around. Their world will crumble, right? And in their mind, there will be a lot of questioning, like, what has it happened to me? Why me? What did I do wrong? There will be guilt. There will be all sorts of emotions. So it's a mental and also emotional, I should say, because your emotions will be all over the place as well. So I feel we have focused so much in healing the physical body with treatments, with chemo, with radiation, and as in the case with cancer, the same with other diseases like autoimmune diseases, anything, right? Like we've treated it with drugs, with treatments, with various sources of, trying to attack the symptom. That's one thing too. We're trying to solve the symptom, but we're not really going deeper in solving what's the root cause. And with some autoimmune diseases or even cancer, right, many times we don't know how it happened. We could guess. Was it maybe that some people ate, like processed food all their life, or they never exercise, or people, like abuse substances. I mean, who knows, right? But oftentimes the treatments are not going to treat the root cause because it's kind of difficult to guess or to find out. But then we get the other side of treatment, which is what I focus on, which is treating the mind. It's treating the way we think or believe about our situation in that moment, about past or previous situations, about treating about what it is that I get to do with this situation that I got now based on the beliefs that I have now. And you get to reassess how your beliefs were, and if they are kind of funky, if they are not supportive anymore, if they are, or if you believe or you think that they kind of led you to this kind of shitty situation, then it's time to change, right? So to me, once again, to reiterate, healing the body from, in this case, my case, cancer, it means healing the mind. It means healing the way I think and feel about myself. It means putting my mindset into a level where I wake up every single day, even if I'm waking up knowing there's cancer cells in my body, but still feeling okay about myself, still loving myself, still loving life, still accepting anything else that comes and going through the process. Is like taking on that assignment, right? Even if there's like shitty diagnosis, even if there's loss or there's other situations that might happen. Good morning. Even if like life will just throw you whatever at you, it's still accepting and taking on the knowledge that we can still make our life the best life we can with what we got. Okay, so I just wanted to share that and make clear, because I know that people sometimes feel defeated, especially with some of the diagnoses that for some reason I'm seeing that there's more and more commonality about people getting all these different diagnoses or situations. It's like, oh, do I have to live with this now forever? My life has to change now. Definitely will have to change for the better. Okay, because that's another thing too that people I know that a lot of us learn about cancer, right? Like, oh my gosh, it's like a life-changing experience that everybody's gonna suffer. It is so very true, but then also we can make the best we can. And with this, let me also say, this doesn't mean, with healing, it doesn't mean that you do it once and it's all over and it's done forever. Hearing something. No, once you embark on the healing quest, in the healing journey, you're in it for the rest of your life, because you become more aware of what else needs to you need to pay attention to. So healing never ends, and be grateful that you, at whatever station of your life, you find out that there's something that had to heal in your life, because otherwise we would have still lived not knowing what was happening and probably not really making any changes and continue the cycle of suffering or being a victim. Okay, so that's the thing too. Once healing starts, it doesn't end. It goes up and down, up and down. So just be aware of that. Be aware of the challenges that might come. Be aware and perceptive of how healing comes in so many different ways. Okay, in so many different ways. Sometimes healing is just waking up and just like sitting at the edge of your bed and breathing, taking a pause, acknowledging yourself, telling yourself how much you love your body, you love your mind, you love everything about you. Sometimes healing is crying. Sometimes healing is just accepting the pain and just crying so hard, even if you don't understand, even if you don't have the answers to your questions, but it's just being there and sitting with the pain, because that's just the way your body needs to process. And when I say your body, it's all of you, all what makes you, your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body. Healing also is sitting in and reconnecting with a higher self, whether it's your higher self or the higher power up above, whoever it is you believe in, God, Jesus, for any religion. Is like I say, I believe in God, but I don't always believe in religion. But whoever is or whatever is your practice, stick with it, lean onto it, because that's what's going to hold you up. Okay, so healing is also that. It's reconnecting with what is important in life, what is important for you, for your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health, for your process in life, for your family. Okay, and also healing is being open-minded. Healing is being curious, being open to see what else can I do, what else can I learn, even if it applies or not. You could try it once, and if it doesn't work, you know what, I'm just gonna put it aside. Don't hate it, don't feel weird about it, just put it aside, because somebody else is gonna use it and need it. So I always feel it's so weird, because when I started this whole healing journey, self-awareness, self-development, self-help journey, oh, there's a beautiful butterfly. Let's see if I can. When I started, I think it's that one. Look how beautiful it is. When I see, okay, here's another thing. This is your sign. This is your omen. Butterflies are a symbol of transformation. So what a perfect time for this little one to show up as a reminder for both of us, you and I, or anybody listening to this, that it's really our time to transform, change it up, change whatever old paradigm, old way of believing, thinking, or doing in our life has come up to this point, and we get to change that, transform it into something better, something unique, and very supportive for us. So it's a beautiful reminder. I just see, here's the other thing. I love this kind of things when I'm out in nature, because I feel like I'm always getting a sign to remind me of the things that I got to pay attention to. So I just wanted to show you that. Saying is, what was I saying? Let me see if you can still see the little butterfly. So what I was saying is, like, with healing, yes, being open-minded and learning and trying things out, like what works for me, great, and what doesn't, I'll just leave it on the side and just go on to the next thing. And really like having those kind of synchronicities, even this, being aware of the signs that come up, reconnecting with nature. That's why if you follow me on social media, follow me on Instagram, Wendy4 Wellness. I'm always showing up there. Always. Most of the time I'm there showing up with my practices, the things that I do, the things that bring me joy, reconnect me with what is important in life. I don't know if that little butterfly is still there. Oh, yeah, it's still there. I don't know if you can see it. But reconnecting with what is important in life. And for me, nature has been such a lifesaver for the last several weeks or months, because here is where I get to spend a big chunk of time in the morning, almost every morning. At least I've been committed to 20 hikes in a month. So here's where I get to find peace, comfort, get the medicine from nature, from the plants, from the trees, from the animals. There's hawks all over in this section where I hike. There's deer, there's butterflies, there are hummingbirds all over the place. So I just get to bathe in with a good healing energy from the elements, because that's what they're here for. They're here, all of us are here to heal ourselves and heal each other. So we get to receive what is available out there. And I truly believe the healing power of nature. So that's what I wanted to. Oh no, I scored it. So it just went flying. Far. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show. And then the last thing I want to say, healing is really accepting, receiving, because I often find, because I also teach classes about boundaries, I also teach classes around opening yourself up, that feminine energy, and it is all about receiving, right? And often a lot of us, especially women, we do not receive. We feel bad, we feel guilty, because we believe that we're always here to give, take care of people, take care of others first, and we often put ourselves last. So healing is receiving, because how can we really heal, receive the medicine, like medicine from nature, if we are not putting ourselves out there, if we don't allow and open ourselves to receive the medicine? And with that comes being aware, right? Like having the awareness and openness and believing and trusting that that's what's happening. Oh, yes, I forgot. Also, healing is trusting. Healing is trusting that things are working out for you. Even if they don't look like it, even if it doesn't seem like it, you don't feel like it, you're still feeling sick, you're still feeling like, ugh, I just want to get out of here, I want to get out of this body. People do say that. Healing is trusting, because your health is not just what your body feels. Your health is not just the pain that your body feels every morning. Your health is not just about the wounds that you get to see, or the scars from trauma from the past. Healing of your health is also the internal way you feel about yourself. Okay, so you do not always you're going to see what needs to have your attention about healing. Oftentimes it's internal scarring. It's the way you feel about yourself, about the things that have happened to you, how it has made you become in a certain way. So healing is trusting that those internal scars are healing, that they are dissipating, that they are changing, or that they are, if they're still there, but you make peace with them and you find a way to live a better life and more meaningful life, even when those scars are there, even when things look like shit, even when it almost feels like you're lost, you're out of ways of making things better for you. It's still trusting that no matter what, things are still happening for you and not to you. So that's what I want to finish this with. Let me know how this landed. Let me know how you want my support. If you want to connect on social media, again, I'm easily found on Instagram at Wendy4Wellness. You get to find me there, and I'm able to connect with you, and you can ask me questions. If you want specific things that you want me to cover, what is this? Oh my gosh, okay. I'm more than happy to do that there. So hit me up, tag me, take a screenshot of this episode and tag me so that I know that you're doing the work, or at least you're more curious about healing, and we can see and work together and see where we can go. All right, so have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys on the other side.